Hello, this is Saki from Saki Tech. In today's video, we will do a speed comparison between the top 5 smartphones in the world to find out which one has the fastest engine. All these phones have a flagship status due to their prestige and monstrous specs. Here are the contenders one by one in no particular order. Number 1 is the iPhone 6, which comes with a dual-core 1.4 GHz Cyclone processor with 1 GB of RAM. Number 2 is the HTC One M9 that comes with an octa-core Snapdragon 810 processor with 3 GB of RAM. Now octa means 8, so we have 8 total processing cores. 4 of those cores are clocked at 1.5 GHz and the other 4 are clocked at 2 GHz. Number 3, we have the Samsung Galaxy Note 4 that comes with a quad-core Snapdragon 805 processor clocked at 2.7 GHz with 3 GB of RAM. At number 4, we have the Samsung Galaxy S6 Edge with an octa-core Exynos 7420 processor with 3 GB of RAM. Again, we have 8 cores over here, 4 cores clocked at 1.5 GHz and the other 4 clocked at 2.1 GHz. And finally, we have the LG G4 with a hexa-core Snapdragon 808 processor with 3 GB of RAM. Now, hexa stands for 6, so we have 2 cores clocked at 1.82 GHz and the remaining 4 cores clocked at 1.44 GHz. Now, to see which one is the fastest, we'll be using the latest Geekbench benchmarking tool. Geekbench is a cross-platform tool which measures the total processing and memory power of any phone by throwing workloads that simulate real-world scenarios. So let's dive in. The first thing to do, as usual, is to clear everything that is running in the background, which is what I'm doing for every single phone. And finally, let's do the iPhone. And there we go. So let's launch Geekbench on each one of these phones. And then we're going to start the test right after. We go, and there we go. So with a clean slate, let's run the benchmark on each one of these phones, and then we will inspect the results shortly after. We go. Fantastic. And let me fast forward this to the end so we don't waste time just watching the benchmark run. Alright, so we're back. And the first phone to get done is the iPhone 6, and we're going to wait for the other phones to get done as well. But as you can see, the iPhone 6 gives you a single core performance of 1631 and a multi-core score of 2936. And even though it was done first, as you can see, the Samsung Galaxy S6 Edge pulls ahead with an enormous multi-core score of 5118 and a single core score of 1472, and the rest of the phones are about done. So let's wait for the HTC One M9 to get done and take a look at all these scores one by one. Alright, so the Samsung Galaxy S6 Edge is the fastest multi-core device here. We have a score of 5118, and HTC One M9 is number 2 with 4058, and LG G4 is number 3 with 3520, and the Samsung Galaxy Note 4 ends with 3390, and the iPhone comes last with the multi-score of 2936. As for the single core results, iPhone 6 comes number 1 with 1631, Samsung Galaxy S6 Edge ends with 1472, LG G4 at number 3 ends with 1141, HTC One M9 at number 4 ends with 1127, and the Samsung Galaxy Note 4 finishes last with 1098 for the single core performance. And as you guys can see, the winner in fact is the Samsung Galaxy S6 Edge. This is a lightning fast device, and this also means the Samsung Galaxy S6 is also the fastest of the bunch. As for the loser, you guys can tell me which phone you think is the slowest of the bunch by leaving a comment below. Make sure you guys follow me on Twitter for updates and also on Facebook for updates, and do not forget to subscribe to Saki Tech. Also, if you want to learn more about any one of these devices, see the description below for a video link for some in-depth coverage for each phone.